Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is the Commando Cast, a video cast about all things Star Wars Destiny. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Hello everyone, welcome to Dice Commando and the Commando Cast. I'm Andrew with you here as always, and thank you for joining me once again. So earlier this week we had the privilege of sitting down with Agent of Zion from the Renewed Hope Committee for Star Wars Destiny. He was able to show us 3 spoilers from the upcoming Set 11 Faltering Allegiances fan-made set for Star Wars Destiny. Coming out of that, of course, lots of excitement. New stuff is always exciting. There was a lot of feedback, a lot of discussion. Some of those discussion points revolved around the look of the cards, specifically the art and kind of the templating. And I'm here today to talk about why not only is that a good thing for Star Wars Destiny, but it's actually a huge opportunity for the rest of the community. All right, everyone. So thanks for joining me again this week for what I think will be a pretty interesting discussion, right? So first off, right, going into it, a lot of the people. I mean, first off, if the largest discussion topic that we're having in the community is the look of the cards so far, I think that's a good thing, right? And as I mean, it is, right? So if I mean, obviously there's people have expressed their concerns about introducing a new mechanic too early versus just kind of providing a baseline, which I think is a really good point. People have their concerns about the mechanic of detect itself, which also is fair. But again, we've seen what it is, and I think that they have a solid plan going forward, and I have faith in the Renewed Hope Committee that this set's going to be good. But yeah, so again, a lot of the discussion topics that we're kind of going back and forth were on the art, and I mean, if we're being honest, the art's not great, right? And the templating, it does look off. It's not what we're used to, right? And as I go into why this doesn't concern me, and just stick with me, I'll explain why it doesn't concern me. Ultimately. I just want to be very clear that everyone understands I am not just a mouthpiece here for the committee. I mean, as you guys know, I'm not involved in the design side of stuff. I've offered my help to support and get them whatever PR they need, and to get the information out there, as well as to help support Infinite through my holocron. But I'm not just taking orders from them and doing whatever they tell me to do, right? So I want to go in now to kind of speak to why the concerns about the art I think are actually really valid, right? So there's the argument to be made that there is an argument to be made, and many have made it in part of their effort to basically squash anybody. The argument's been made that art doesn't matter, right? And I reject that, and I fall on the side of the people who want nice art, because this game's different than like a Pokemon. Like if you actually look at Pokemon, like their art stinks. Like some of their art stinks, right? And people don't necessarily care because it's cute and whatever. But that's not what this is, right? This is Star Wars, and there's a lot of people who came to this game because it was Star Wars. And the argument of I want to be able to sit down, and specifically with the characters, right? The argument that I want to be able to sit down and play something that looks good because I want it to help attract, like, with Amy, right? If we were sitting down and playing paper cutouts, the game's not going to have the same effect trying to sell it to people who aren't into gaming. If it was just paper cutouts that were black and white, is what I mean, or something like that, right? So I think that I think that art does matter here, and I think it's a big deal. Now, the reason why I don't think this was a miss, and the reason why I think it's a good thing, is because Renewed Hope. So there's a couple issues why Renewed Hope should be avoiding the art thing. By that I mean good art, right? The first and most, I mean, the easiest is that Zion told us it was I think it was 93 cards is what he said, right? So even at a 250-ish ballpark to commission a piece of art from just like a casual artist, right? That's about the going rate, 200 to 250, something like that for a single piece, for single use, stuff like that. You're looking at roughly anywhere between 15 to 20 grand for a set, right? Where's that money coming from, right? Especially for a proof of concept to see that they can actually, proof of concept set to see if they can actually do this, right? Where's that money going to come from? The answer is, unless we kickstart this, nowhere, right? And then the flip side of this, so obviously I think we all agree that they're not just going to like make 20 grand appear and, you know, everyone's super excited to get this stuff, but how many people are actually willing to pay for it? My guess is not as many, right? So I think it's very reasonable, and then they'd be selling a product anyway, which is a whole different thing, right? So I don't think there are very many people out there who expect them to have professional level art that are unique. So the next question will be, well, why not just use art that's out there already? The obvious answer there, which I think we all understand, is they're tiptoeing around the legality and the IP of all this as it is, right? So from the IP standpoint, there's really two concerns they have in general, right? The biggest concern is Disney, right? It's not FFG as much, it's Disney, right? So if they go into using art that exists out there and is owned by Disney, right? Because you'll notice on a lot of the FFG cards, right, the IP stuff, the image is still copyright Disney, right? It's still part of Disney regardless of who owned it or who commissioned it, right? Disney still owns that art. And by that I mean on a professional, like an actual printed Star Wars Destiny card, right? So there's that concern. Now there of course is the FFG concern, but the FFG concern, right, the FFG cease and desist would come in terms of using the gameplay. And that's why they also decided intentionally to have there be differences on the templating itself, right? Like Jin is up there right now. Okay, well, just switch to Master of Disguise, right? But if you look at it right now, it doesn't quite look right, right? It's a little harder to read. The text is small. Everything's slightly off. And they'll, of course, fix those and make it look better before it comes out final. But intentionally, they're not going to have everything be exactly the same because they want to give themselves as much buffer, as much protection as they can from getting shut down. Because if we get shut down, guys, right, if they get shut down, that's it, right? And so, I mean, the templating thing is maybe even a different argument. But as far as the art goes, like Jen is up there right now, like she looks bad. She does. Like there's no question about it. And I fundamentally agree that it's not as attractive to new player, right? So everyone making the art comment, like just because I'm giving the reasons for them to have made the decision that they made and use the art that they are, doesn't mean I'm dismissing the argument. In fact, I'm embracing your argument. Which brings me to this, right? There's a huge opportunity for us in the community to create fan-made cards, right? And on top of that, to that extent, what I'm prepared to do today is commit to making an alt art card free and distributable to everyone, and by that I mean the image, not sending everyone a printed card. But I'm committing today, for the end of time, well, until I don't want to play Star Wars Destiny anymore, which I hope never happens, but I'm committing to support character alt art or character fan-made alt art cards throughout the history of the Renewed Hope Committee, right? I will, in every set, I will create a character. Each character will have an alt art, right? They may not come all at the same time, whatever, right? I'm giving myself disclaimer buffers going forward, but I'm committing today to putting effort into making alt art cards going forward, period, right? And I encourage others out there to not only do that, but hey, if you are an aspiring artist, if you're a Parker Simpson, for example, right? And I'm not telling, I mean, Parker's popular in his own right, I'm not telling him to do it, right? But if you're an aspiring artist or something like that, there's nothing that's saying you can't draw something up. Send it to Renewed Hope. They might even take it and say, man, we don't even have an idea for this yet, but we love the art and we're going to send our card around. Like that's conceivably something that could completely happen, right? So this is a huge opportunity for those of us who didn't have the opportunity to get in on the card design, but still want to be involved in the community and help move it forward. This is a huge opportunity for us to get involved and help contribute. So again, I'm committing to do that, but there's going to be people who make stuff way, 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 way better than I am. Right. So what I'm showing right now actually is my alternate art gen. I already made it up. This is what I'll be distributing, right? So you see at the bottom, it clearly says Dice Commando on it, right? Which is important for what I'll get to next, right? And it just looks like a normal Destiny card. All the font's the same. Everything's in the right place. Looks like a Destiny card. It's great. And it will be distributed, and I'll have Dice Commando's name on it, right? The reason this is a good thing is that If for some reason a cease and desist comes because of the IP looking too similar, they come after Dice Commando and they don't come after Renewed Hope, right? If Entourage does one, or if I Rebel does one, or whatever, right? The cease and desist would go, in theory at least, to them, right? I'm not claiming to be a legal expert, but my point is what we're doing is we're providing levels of insulation for Renewed Hope. Because again, if Renewed Hope gets shut down, that's it, right? If Renewed Hope gets shut down, it is highly unlikely another committee will pop up in the future because there's a precedent and you don't want to violate that, right? So anyway, I think my point is clear here. I'll go ahead and show up Cassian now because I'm suspecting there's going to be a Cassian. I have no idea, but red Cassian better happen in this set, man. So I'm counting on that. It's time for, if Jen's red, Cassian should be red. It's time for red Cassian. So I've got my alt art for Cassian ready to go once we hear what he's going to do. But again, I actually want to want to be very clear here that I fully support the feedback that was given in terms of art. I think it's 100% on. I think that this game needs to look good. I think that's what brought us to this game, was it being Star Wars, it being cool, it being nice. And, of course the gameplay matters. Of course it has to be good cards, but it also has to look good, right? So for those out there who are dismissing, and actually I do have to say that's been one thing I've been very disappointed at, or I should say a little disappointed at this week, was how some people came out and attacked people who gave the art feedback, and I don't think that was warranted. Gameplay does not matter more than, so gameplay does matter more, but it doesn't matter so much more than the art that you can say nothing, because I think we all agree that you wouldn't want to have an ugly stick figure on the card, right? So if we all agree you wouldn't want to have an ugly stick figure on the card, at that point we're just haggling over where that border is, right? So we agree that art matters, but we're just arguing over how much it matters, right? So I don't think that that's a fair thing to put people down for, and I don't think that it's fair to say that they're not appreciative or that they're out of line because they want better art. I'm just asking that the people who want better art step up and help us make it, right? We as a community can make this happen, and I think we have a great opportunity in front of us to really make this a community-driven project. So anyway, that's all I have to say today. If you guys need any help, have any questions or feedback, of course, let me know in the comments. You guys can always find me on the various social medias, and if nothing else, guys, go Commando.